Namaste, Jason. I'm looking at your chart here. Well, we'll get to the reading part in a minute. Are you looking at your report?
Yep.
Okay, right on the first page, the Rasi chart, the birth chart.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
the moon's in the upper left-hand corner.
Uh-huh.
That's Pisces. Now, what that means is you are now in Sade Sati. Sade Sati is when Saturn transits your moon sign. And it begins when Saturn is in the previous sign. It peaks when Saturn moves through your moon sign, and then there's one more sign left. I'm also going through this because my moon is in Aquarius. So when Saturn moves into Pisces at the end of the month, beginning of April, that will be like the beginning of the peak period of Sade Sati. The effect is that there's delays, disappointments, separations, failures, losses, everything that Saturn rules. And they are especially intense during this 7.5 year period when Saturn is in the three signs bracketing your moon. So I went through this back in 1995, around then, and I'm going through it again now, 30 years later, and so are you. Okay, so this is going to last until, well, if it's beginning to another 5 years. It's just begun and it's about to peak. So the other thing regarding Saturn is the Saturn return. When Saturn comes and transits its natal position in your birth chart, that lasts for about a year. And the last time it happened was December 2008. So about, if you can remember what happened back in 2008, and then it's going to happen again in October 2038. But these are times when, as much as possible, you need to just chill out. Because Saturn is going to bring up all your issues. So speaking of Saturn issues, let's take a look at what they are. Okay. Actually, Saturn is a benefic in your chart. And it's also the strongest planet in your chart, according to the Shadbala. Not by much. Venus is also very strong. Moon is also very strong. And after that, Jupiter. But Saturn is just a little bit, by just a little bit, the strongest. So that means it's a yoga karaka. It's favorable for your fourth house, which is where it's located. And fourth house means comforts, quality of life, that kind of thing. What are you laughing?
Oh, I have lots of comforts.
Good. So you can expect that to continue, especially during the Sade Sati period. Let's see, to go back to your report here, I'm going to find the Saturn section. Saturn is in 4, but you see, when I look at the chart as a whole, first of all, I see that it's very likely you'll get liberation in this life. I mean, you have a great opportunity. And if you put forth the effort, you can definitely achieve it. Your Jupiter conjoins Saturn in the fourth, giving you, I mean, a lot of benefits. It's in a Kendra. So the influence of Jupiter is to basically nullify all the evils in the chart. And if anything bad does come up, it's going to be much less, you know. It's just going to bark. It's not going to bite. So you have a chance for liberation. And however, to overcome the negative aspects of Saturn, you will have to do some regulated, humble sadhana. I mean, that's pretty much, you know, par for the course.
Yeah.
So you're already expecting that, huh?
Yeah. Been a bit avoidant in regular practice, but I let it come organically, but I know I need to find some regimented methods to
Yeah.
practice more, and that's where I'm looking for your guidance to.
Especially with Sade Sati, you will need some kind of regulated practice based on the scriptures. Okay. And it also has to resonate with your heart.
Yeah.
In other words, the spontaneous practice is good because it shows you where your interest is, where your heart is. You know, because if you can feel that and do sadhana based on that in spontaneous mode, then if you add some regulated service, it'll have great effect. So it's not my role, you know, to tell you what mantra to chant or what deity
Yeah.
to worship or what kind of meditation you need. You probably know already better than I do, because you have the Arishtabhanga, you have the Jupiter in the fourth house, and that gives you amazing good fortune. You also have, you're telling me about comforts, right? You have five Karma Dharma Adipati yogas. I've never seen this before. Means, you know how to make money. It doesn't grow on trees. You still have to put out some effort. But basically, you got that part of life licked. And it's coming to you with a minimum amount of effort. But you also have issues that keep you on your toes, keep you unbalanced, give you a slight amount of suffering, especially mental suffering, that pushes you like a goad, you know, like uh, towards self realization. You're never quite fully satisfied. This is very common in the charts of advanced devotees and meditators. I have a similar setup in my chart. Whereas I have good fortune, I get an easy life basically, but there's some deep inner dissatisfaction pushing me towards the self realization. And it's right, the self realization is the cure. But you have Saraswati Yoga and you have two Satkalatra yogas, which means you get learning, you get a good family life. Although you're separated from your birth family, they don't get it, right?
Yeah.
That's also very common. I have that yoga too. Um, and only three Raja yogas, but with five Karma Dharma Adipati yogas, you don't need to be in charge. You just need to make the money. Am I right?
Yeah.
I love astrology. I know you better than your mother, you know? But it's okay because I don't try to take advantage or anything. I appreciate seeing charts like yours because the vast majority of charts are kind of depressing, tell you the truth. Um,
Yeah.
that people have no real chance, to attain liberation or anything. And they just have to slog their way through their karma. Now, speaking of which, you do have periods in your life when the karma comes up and bites you. And at times you may find yourself broke, alone, even out of a place to stay. It can be pretty intense at times, but you always bounce back from it because you basically have good karma, and whatever it is just the tail end of whatever you did in some forgotten past life, which is meant to be discharged so you can get out of here. So don't don't feel like you're unfortunate or you're bad or you're wrong or anything. This is just the tail end of your material results. Um, and if you can allow it, accept it, and even appreciate it, thankfully, that this is the end of my karma. I'm almost done here. I'm ready to go on to the next thing, whatever that is, according to according to your desire. I don't see anything really that could be uh, an obstacle to final liberation. It's really a nice chart. Need more people like you in the world. And that's why, I gave up doing astrology for clients for a long time because I saw so many charts that were just, you know, kind of depressing. But when I see somebody like yours, that's that makes up for all the clunkers. Okay.
Yeah, I figured you'd get a kick out of it after having a couple other readings and having a general idea of my chart layout. Yeah, I knew it was different, and I'm not reliant on my birth chart to take me to the final liberation of my soul, but it's understanding it is a big help to lay foundations to my deeper understanding in the next years of my life. So
it's the hand that you were dealt at birth.
yeah.
Of course, it's still up to you how well you play that hand, the strategy and the insight that you develop about the issues in your life and how to handle them. But basically, I mean, looking at your chart, you have Ketu in the ninth house. I also have Ketu in the ninth house with Jupiter. And you're out of here, man. Yeah, you have no real interest in manifestation.
So
Hmm?
I was interested on your video the other day explaining how the planets are aligning to look at K2, how I should have that be a positive influence to make it.
You have Ketu in the ninth. So whatever happens, and I suspect it's going to be big and very general, kind of like COVID or maybe even bigger than COVID. Whatever it is going to spur you to do more sadhana, more spiritual practice, and just complete your karma and get out of here. In Kanya, in Virgo, you have Pluto, which is the planet of the masses. It's the global karmic consciousness of humanity in general. And so I think the way this is going to show up for you is in your relationship to society. And you may be inspired to take the final step and withdraw from society altogether, just to pursue your spiritual aims. Now, interestingly enough, in your Navamsa chart, your ninth divisional chart, you have Ketu in Virgo, which is the same sign that it's in right now and during this event that's coming up. But you have Jupiter, it's in your fourth house, but in the Navamsa, you have Jupiter in your Lagna, which is very strong. And it's opposed to Saturn, whereas it's conjunct in Saturn in your birth chart. Jupiter is opposing Saturn in your Navamsa, and it's in your Lagna, your house of rising sign, which is Gemini in that chart, all of which says that you will be able to use your intelligence. Gemini is intelligence because it's the two halves of the brain talking to each other, or the male and female energies talking to each other within us and working things out in such a way that this Ketu is in a Kendra in your Navamsa. I think it's going to be good for you. Maybe not in the short run, because in the short run, it may look like a big inconvenience. But in the long run, I think it's going to motivate you to finish your sadhana. Just like it's been for me with this Sade Sati, has motivated me tremendously to finish up my sadhana and attain the worlds that I've been shown in my visions and stuff, and to be able to move into them, freely in real time, at any time. You can do that too. You have the support in your chart. So I want to hear more from you if you have any questions or issues.
Not specifically. Part of my intellectual understanding just wants to understand the way the charts read more versus specific direction. Life questions, or my brain doesn't necessarily wants to understand the chart versus understanding or look to what's next or what the chart could foretell, at least in this 5 minutes.
Well, let's look at your transits, because I think you pretty much understand the setup here. You were given at birth,
It's and that's, I guess, I understand my birth chart more. I've internalized that more. So, looking how the transits are influencing is interesting. How I can tie that into sadhana practices most effectively. And fortunately, Jupiter, being so powerful, leading to Shiva, is feels more easy. Feels easier to engage.
Okay, the sun has just gone into Pisces, and it is squared with Neptune. Ew. You're coming out of that one, though. Last few days must have been weird, difficult.
Yeah.
Huh?
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, difficult. Yeah.
But
different, but
you also, because Neptune is weird. With Neptune, sometimes nothing happens with a Neptune transit, but sometimes, it can get really nasty. You feel kind of tired of life and all the hassles and stuff. However, you also have your sun right now trine Uranus, and that will give you some unexpected opportunities or realizations, some sudden gain or advantage. It's not clear let's see, what houses it's in. Well, it's in your first house. Sun is a significator, so it's in your first house of the moon, your first moon house, meaning you may have some intellectual breakthroughs and understanding or realizations beyond the norm. Um, this is just this week. Let's see, Mars. Mars is square Pluto. Something is going on in your life, like a power struggle, and it has to be fully analyzed so that you're not acting from your emotion, but from a deep understanding and insight. Um, and it can't be done ruthlessly or violently. It has to be done gently with compassion. So you can't do anything, you can't cheat. Mars
Yeah.
will be very tough on you if you do. But you can resolve this thing by uh, nonviolent means. And oh, you also have Mars sextile Saturn, which gives you the mental gravity and concentration to solve this thing. See, this is a good chart. When really difficult issues come up in the chart, like these transits, you also have the support to work through them. That's a good chart. That means that in the birth chart itself, these planets are in complementary aspects. And so when you have other planets going around and hitting these points, you get not only the problem, but the means to solve it. And where is Mars? In the second house. Watch, don't overspend, because uh, somebody may try to rip you off, or you may get some trouble from the government, um, or have a problem getting your tax refund or something like that. Um, that's kind of typical thing for Mars in second house. Um, Mercury. Mercury is good, even though you may have some uh, agitation from discussions that don't exactly go your way. Again, if you're patient and work through the issues calmly, deliberately, methodically, like that, you can negotiate a good settlement. Don't believe any promises, though, during this time. Let's see, Mercury square Mercury lasts until another week or so. Don't believe anybody's promises. Demand proof.
That's understood. That's one of my biggest life lessons
I want to
in
see it in
general.
writing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And oh my God, Jupiter is square Mars too. Woo! Oh yeah, because Mars and Jupiter are right together. So yeah, this is a big issue, whatever it is. But because Jupiter is in your first house right now, you've got tremendous energy, good health. That's a blessing, man. Venus, this is again, it's like any kind of serious conflict in a conversation can lead to a breakdown in a relationship. You have to be a little bit, even though it's a bummer, you have to be a little bit diplomatic in your relationships. And
Yeah, that's been another life lesson.
yeah, it would be nice if we could just say what we really feel all the time, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that would just lead to trouble, especially now with that Mars stuff and that, oh boy. Venus conjunct, see, Here's the other side. Venus is conjunct your natal moon. That's beautiful. That's great. Very fortunate. And you can afford, you feel good enough with yourself that you can afford to be good-natured and gentle and a warm person without losing your temper, even though things may get difficult. We don't need to go into that deeply. Venus is in your 11th. So that's giving you gains through your relationships. But where is Saturn? Dum, dum, dum. Uh-oh. Saturn is square your natal Neptune. Whoa. And you have Sade Sati. Don't make any permanent commitments or decisions that cannot be undone if they don't work out. You're likely to feel discouraged, pessimistic, disappointed, like you're up against tremendous obstacles that can't be overcome. So the best thing is not to try to push through them, but chill out and wait. Because Neptune, Saturn square Neptune, oh boy. Saturn moves so slow. Square Neptune, 27. Well, it's already past the peak.
Okay.
Yeah, it's already past the peak. So it'll be tapering off over the next month or so. Saturn moves very slowly. But Saturn is about to change signs. And when it does, it's going to be going into Pisces. Now, when Saturn changes into Pisces next month, it's going to be in your 11th house. Watch out for false friends, deception, and getting cheated. However, it will also bring a respect for your elders and deep thinking. You can gain money, you can gain acquisition of property, things, and actually is good for your home life. A gain of fame, maybe a promotion or enjoyment. And you may get your tax refund then because the government will be favorable. This could be a high period in your life after the big Ketu thing. Nice to have a beneficent Saturn in your chart. Mine is all nothing but trouble. But again, you do have to control your spending. The money that's coming is not going to last forever. It's not going to become a steady thing. So enjoy it, but be careful not to overspend. That's what the planets are telling your current transits.
So yeah, I just wanted to say, yeah, the chart that you sent me was very complete versus what I've seen elsewhere. You gave the complete reading, and yeah, now your follow up was very helpful to my understanding. So, thank you.
Oh, that's good to hear. And if you have any questions or issues about it, you know where you can text me and we can always chat. So it's been a real pleasure. I love doing charts for people who are in a good spiritual situation. It really makes my day. Hey, there are others out there,
Yeah.
because it's so rare. What does Krishna say? Among thousands of men, only one may actually understand this thing. And among thousands of them, only one may actually get you know, the complete liberation. Manushyanam sahasresu, that's it. Thousands among men. So maybe on the whole planet right now, there are, you know, a couple of dozen actually enlightened people. And there are many more candidates, many more aspirants for enlightenment who actually have, you know, the astrological foundation that they could attain it. So, you know, Kali Yuga is rough, but it's not a total uh, disaster. You know, there are still some good aspects of it. And one of those is that even a little bit of sadhana gives much greater results during the Kali Yuga.
Yeah.
So I hope you take the opportunity that you've been given and really, you know, make a strong determination to reach the highest because you are capable of it. It is within your grasp.
All of your efforts have been with the videos through the years have been very been a big blessing to be able to utilize them and go deeper into the scriptures without having to figure it out on the internet myself. It was,
Yeah,
and
I did that
it's,
work so you don't have to.
yeah, well, and again, I know it's been far and few between that have uh, leveraged it, but yeah, from one that has gained some advantage from it all. Thank you
Makes
very
my
much. I
day.
appreciate it.
Oh,
Thank you, Bhagavan Dev. It's many blessings.
same to you, Jason.
Okay, we'll be in touch.
Yes, please.
Thank you again.